This is the Transforming Anxiety Podcast with Kelly Hanlon McCormick, and today is episode number 248, Time Confetti. Welcome to Transforming Anxiety. I'm your host, Kelly McCormick. I'm a mom to 2 boys, a wife, friend, daughter, and sister, and I'm a certified life coach, yoga teacher, and soon-to-be mindfulness meditation teacher. I'm no stranger to anxiety, and I'm here to teach you how to manage your mind and your emotions so that you too can transform anxiety into calm, peace, and whatever you want for your life. I'm so glad you're here. Hey there. Welcome in today. Good morning, or good afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. I hope this finds you well. I hope you're doing all right in the new year so far. New year, same us, right? But I hope you're doing okay, that you're feeling okay about things, about life, about just moving through the world in your own skin. I think that's the goal a lot of times. Can I feel okay moving about the world just being me? That's not nothing. For sure, that's not nothing. It's kind of what we're up to around here, right? Just feeling okay being ourselves. Transforming anxiety so that we can feel okay being ourselves. Yeah. So my intention for today, for this conversation, for this episode, is to give you some practical tips regarding time, regarding how to manage your mind around time. So we do some episodes together that focus a lot on awareness, some that focus on perspective. And every so often, I think it's helpful to do an episode that gives like really tactical ideas, right? Practical ideas and steps. And time is a big one. We all want more time. Time is one of our most precious resources, of course, as human beings. And contrary to how we talk about it and kind of that popular term, it's not time management, right? We cannot actually manage time. Time is outside of us. It's just marching on with or without us, right? Totally not caring about us. The best we can do is to manage ourselves around time, right? How do we think about time? How do we approach time? How do we take care of and protect our time? Those are more useful questions by far than how can I manage my time better, right? So we're talking about time confetti today. This is a term that was coined by Bridget Schulte. She's the author of a book called Overwhelmed, and the subtitle is Work, Love, and Play When No One Has the Time. So let's start with defining this term, okay? Time confetti. Let's say you have an hour after dinner on a Tuesday night. All right, nothing going on. Don't have to go anywhere. No real tasks or chores to get done. You're just hanging out. Most of us are looking for this. Yeah, an hour at leisure, an hour to just relax or rest or do something we want to do. A whole hour. Yay. But then let's say you get a few emails. So your phone pings you with those notifications. Maybe you get a friend request on Facebook or someone comments on your latest Instagram post. Maybe then your kid asks you to help them log into something. And the doorbell rings because the Amazon guy drops off a package. But then your phone chimes again because there's a reminder for a meeting that you have tomorrow morning. And your partner is just talking to themselves in the background, like trying to figure out something in the kitchen. And you keep saying, "What?" Because you're mistaking their chatter for a question that's meant for you. None of this is a big deal, right? None of it's time consuming. None of it demands much attention or energy on your part. And each of these little interruptions, they only take a few seconds, really, right? We're talking like 3 to 10 seconds, maybe. So it doesn't seem like any of this requires anything of you. Not really. I mean, what? It's like a minute or 3 total is gone here, right? But have you noticed that an hour like this can fly by? You're looking at the clock going, wait a second, I just sat down. You know what I mean? Because it's also not like these things happen back to back to back to back, right? These interruptions, they get spread out over the hour. So it distracts you a little here and then a little bit in another 10 minutes. So it takes that whole hour that you have and it breaks it into these little chunks, right? Separated by interruptions. This is the phenomenon of time confetti, that our time gets shredded into these little itty bitty pieces that just, well, they kind of just fly away, right? We lose track of them. And it's impossible to tape them back together into a cohesive whole. And to make things a little worse, these interruptions and these distractions, most of them come with this little reminder of all of the things we could be doing or will need to get to or we'll have to remember tomorrow or the next day or whenever. So it's like an interruption with a side of pressure or guilt or obligation that goes along with it. So also think about this. We live in the information age, right? We have access to so much information. So when you're thinking about like maybe where you want to go to dinner this weekend or what brand of thingamajig you should buy or the next book that you want to read, it can be very overwhelming when you go to research whatever it is that you're going to do, to the point where you almost can't enjoy the dinner because maybe you should have gone to the other restaurant, right? Or would that feature that the other thingy had be more useful than the one that you ended up buying? Or it's like, oh, there's so many great books. How can I choose which one? Maybe I'll just start a couple of them and see which one grabs me. So it's like more time confetti, right? There's this lack of presence with what you're doing, and there's a sense that you're missing out on something else. It's even further fragmenting. So you see what time confetti is, right? The slicing and dicing of our time and of our attention and of our focus and our presence, such that our rest and relaxation time is anything but restful or relaxing. And our sense of being in one place with one thing, focusing on one conversation or one experience or one person, man, that's a rare thing these days, right? It's like we're out to lunch with a friend and our eyes are pulled towards the phone that's sitting next to our plate when the weather notification gets pushed out. Or we get a phone call while we're driving our kids to their next activity, which interrupts the conversation we were having with the teenager that we so rarely get to hear from and listen to because they're running all over the place with friends and sports and events. So, okay, transforming anxiety. Why are we talking about this here? Because this adds to our overall sense of anxiety by a lot. This shreds our time and our attention. It puts work or email or reminders into time when we're not wanting to be working or emailing or remembering things, right? It traps us into that whole I'm a bad parent line of thinking. If we're distracted by a work email that came through while we're having dinner with our kids, and it creates this whole I should be doing better at work issue in our minds when we get a text from our kid about a school project that's due tomorrow when we're in the middle of an important meeting with the boss. We see someone else's vacation photos of their family on some exotic island while we're trying to wrangle our kids into going hiking in the mountains, and we think, ugh, they're having a way better time than we are. Or, and this is a classic for me, you scroll through social media to see some high school friend's family vacationing, right, during fall break or that one random Friday you get off from school in March, when it didn't even occur to you to take your kids somewhere. They're climbing the walls, they're begging for friends to come over, only to find out most of their friends are on vacation. Yeah. Time confetti. And we need to recognize this, right, for a few reasons, but they're all in the interest of easing anxiety. Time confetti is a way of perpetuating time poverty in ourselves And I don't think we need to become all out time affluent in order to ease up on how anxiety inducing it is to have our time shredded into confetti. This is absolutely one of those places where recognizing what's happening and getting some perspective on it can help enormously. So, per usual, that's step one. What else can we do though? How do we correct this? How do we get back bigger chunks of time and more concentrated experiences of focus, of presence, of flow? Well, there's some simple hacks, of course. We're going to talk through just a few of these. And then there's a much bigger undercurrent to all of this. And I have to tell you, the hacks that I'm going to share with you will only work if that bigger undercurrent is in place. And the hacks most certainly haven't worked in the past, and they won't work in the future if the bigger undercurrent isn't there. So, all right, hacks first. You could turn off the notifications on your devices, right? You could let yourself go check your email instead of being notified every time one comes in. You could let yourself go check your social media accounts or the news or the weather or whatever sale Target has going on. When all of your apps are constantly pulling your attention away, you're going to wind up with time confetti all over the place. Your attention, your energy, your focus, your presence, it all gets shredded all over the place. So at least for the least important apps, or maybe using the focus hours, the do not disturb features on your phone, let yourself be away and unplugged for periods of time. That's an easy one. Another good one is to put your phone in another room or simply put it like away from your bed at night. So I know a lot of you have teenagers or aging parents, or you think you need to have your phone close by when you're sleeping for a variety of reasons. I get it. I hear you. I don't have my phone outside of my bedroom either for exactly these reasons. But I do try to make it very inconvenient to access my phone when I'm going to sleep or when I'm waking up. I'd rather use that time to read or to meditate or to talk to my partner, like when those falling asleep and waking up hours, or I'd rather just get up out of bed altogether. And if my phone is nearby, I know I can easily scroll for like an hour. Time confetti. I don't want an hour of my day to disappear simply because my phone is handy. Make it difficult, right? Don't have it right next to you all the time. I do this during the workday sometimes too. I keep it in another room or in my bag just so I can't see it. Just make it a little harder to access it. If someone needs me, I still have it available, right? I'm not unavailable to my people. I can answer my kids or my family or whatever else comes through. But it makes the little time confetti activities and scrolling and game playing and checking, that meaningless stuff, it makes it a lot harder to access. That's pretty huge. All right, something else. This is a fun one. This is a fun hack. Commit to something you thought was previously impossible. So, because of time confetti and our tendency to shred our free time into little bits, we have convinced ourselves that we cannot do things that we want to do, like read more, or learn a foreign language, or how to play chess, or exercise, or spend time outside, or spend time with friends, or spend more time with the kids, or play an instrument, or take a class, or cook more. Whatever it is, there are a lot of us that are putting things off until we quote unquote have more time. But I wonder, let's pretend there's a world where you had to do the thing that you want to do, and therefore you had to reshuffle your time and reprioritize your attention. Like, how would you get that thing done if I told you you have to read for an hour a day? Or you have to be able to speak passable French at the end of 2024? How would you get that thing done? Now, I'm not saying this because I think you need to cram more into your day. I'm suggesting that if you gather up your time confetti, and if you didn't shred your energy and your attention and your time into those little itty bitty pieces that get thrown all over the place all day, you could perhaps concentrate that into something truly and deeply meaningful in your life. Another hack, and this is a good one. This isn't really a hack so much as a clue. Don't overlook this one. Notice if and when you're feeling overly fragmented and distracted, because this is a clue that time confetti is happening. You know how they say if you're feeling thirsty, you're already a little dehydrated? It's just like that. If you notice you're feeling overly fragmented and distracted, time confetti is already happening, right? So if you feel yourself getting overly antsy, if you keep jumping from thing to thing, if you sit down to do something and your mind just keeps jumping all over the place and you can't quite focus in on something, this is a major clue. Time confetti has a cumulative effect, meaning a few little distractions are easy to shake off. But if you have 15 interruptions in an hour, every waking hour, for weeks and months and years on end, that leads to chronically fragmented time and attention and headspace. So if you're feeling it, if you're feeling fragmented and distracted, it's a good sign that your time is being shredded and you're already down the path of too much time confetti. So this is just a tip that'll clue you into what's happening with you. Pay attention to it. Now, the bigger undercurrent. All of that's fine. Those hacks are helpful. But not if you don't want this. Not if you don't really want to change. Change is hard. There's a reason why we resist change, why we cling to what we always do, even when we know it isn't quite working for us. You have to want to shift things. And there are two things that I see in 100% of my students when they're really ready to change. One is that the discomfort of doing what they're currently doing, living how they're currently living, it is more painful than change. Change is uncomfortable, for sure, but so is living how you're living if things aren't working for you or if things aren't sustainable for you. So when that teeter-totter flips and you recognize that the discomfort of change is less than the discomfort of how you're currently living, then you'll be ready to make a shift. The other thing is you have to value what you get out of the change more than you value your current comfort. So you have to value having more quality time in your day more than you value scrolling through Instagram before bed. You have to value reading more books this year than you did last year more than you value watching TV while scrolling and shopping on your phone and half-heartedly answering work emails after dinner. Like if the pain point isn't big enough and you don't see the true value in what you're saying you want, change-wise, there's not nearly enough motivation to change things. You'll be relying on discipline and willpower alone, and those things run out every single day at the end of the day. Meaning your evenings are going to always and forever be the witching hour if you're reliant upon discipline and willpower to get you where you say you want to go. Now, there's more nuances to that. I made it sound very simple and black and white. There are more nuances to this. We can talk about that. I'll tell you how in just a second. When you're fully aware of how uncomfortable your current habit is, when you see the consequences of living with so much time confetti in your life, then you're more likely to change things because you recognize the pitfalls of your current situation. When you truly value what you want more than you value the familiarity of your current situation, then you're more likely to change things. So you can use those things as a litmus test to see if you're ready, or maybe to clarify your readiness and help push yourself over the edge. So that's time confetti. It's not fun party confetti. right? It's a shredded mess of little scraps of time that don't ever go back together. And this is it, my friend. Your hours, your days, your time, your life. Don't shred it all up. Yeah? Okay, lastly, just a few reminders, housekeeping stuff. Remember, we're kind of cooking this month. We're just getting geared up for 2024 during January. But I've got a lot of things coming your way this year, and I want to hear from you. So you can visit featuredup.com/transforminganxiety, and you can leave me comments and questions there, things you want to hear on the podcast. I would love to hear from you. Also, you can text podcast to 816-354-1279. I'm going to be starting a new Mindful Monday deal come February. So I'll be texting you directly, sharing little nuggets and love notes that way. And to my international folks, I hear you. I'm coming for you. So hang tight. I'm going to have more info on how we can hang out and share Mindful Monday love too. I promise I'm not going to overlook you. So thank you to my Canadian and UK and Aussie friends for writing in about that. Yes, I got you. Also, be sure you're on the email list at kellyhanlonmccormick.com for info on how I can support you more directly in transforming anxiety. And there's going to be some upcoming mindfulness classes, some workshops this year. So all of that's in the show notes, all those links and numbers and all that good stuff. All right. I will see you at the same time, same place next week for more transforming anxiety. And until then, please take care. Do you have someone to help you with your stress, anxiety, worry, and overwhelm? If not, I would love to be your coach. The Fierce Calm Project is my virtual coaching program where we get to go in on topics like this one, and I can help you apply these lessons to your life so that you're creating your own transformation. We do live coaching calls, guided meditations, on-demand yoga classes. We hold book club where we read books your neighborhood book club won't, and there's lots of bonus content that I've created just for you. When you're ready to take what you're learning on the podcast to a whole other level, then come on over and check out the Fierce Calm Project at kellyhanlonmccormick.com/Fierce Calm Project.